tempting.
It's very tempting, but you know, you only have to go at that right pitch that you're after. You know, not get sucked into something that they want you to swing at.
Yeah, well, 2-0 is an interesting count, isn't it? Because the pitcher doesn't want to get up behind any further, certainly not 3-0. So your catcher and your pitcher are thinking, okay, we need a strike here, but we don't want to put it in the hitter's zone, okay? Because that's the opposite. The hitter will be sitting there thinking, okay, you throw it in the zone, I'm ready for it. So it's a really it's a interesting situation to be in.
Yeah, and with a runner on too as well. You know, you don't want to come close because, you know, they'll drive in this run and the energy will get up as well, you know, and it's different having a no runner on. You can actually go a bit closer, but with that runner on, it's a completely different story.
And that's where the homework on each of these batters is really important, isn't it? Because counts like 2-0, you want to find that part of the zone which doesn't match the part of the zone they like to hit through. So again, I think that's the other thing that will be happening this weekend, is these teams will be reconfirming what they know about each of these hitters. Did he go? I think he might have. The strike's called. You just get the feeling after having conceded 3 runs that the Black Sox would really want to get at least one back in this inning.
Yeah, definitely. It just keeps them that bit closer. You know, we're only in the second. There's still a lot of ball game to go, but you just want that, you know, especially with the great start that Riley gave us, and you know, with Pitta putting that bunt down to advance it, you know, that's what you really want. You want them to be able to manufacture runs and bring them in.
And it's foul ball.
It really is one of those moments in our game, though, that an opportunity that can change the momentum in a game, right? Right here, when you're coming into your turn at bat, as the team that's just had runs scored against you, you can just immediately flip that switch back.
I think this shows the talent in this Black Sox lineup as well. Taweda Bishop is an accomplished hitter, even though he's at number 7. He was one of the power hitters for Wellington down in Christchurch at the National Championships recently. He can easily clear the fence.
And that's right, you know, when you think that Pitta laid the bunt down, and he's another one that's easily could have driven the ball to where you need it to go, but you know, it looks like that Mark's showing the confidence in the guys behind Pitta to drive their runner in, which is good to see.
So Bevan, as a former catcher, we've got quite a strong breeze that's coming from left to right across the screen. You've got to imagine that maybe you want to stay away from the outside of the plate, because anything that's going to go out that way potentially is going to make it a bit easier to...
Yeah, definitely. Anything straight from centre field to right field is going to just carry and have that extra momentum coming from the wind. So you want them to be hitting it into left field and obviously up, and for the wind to help you out as that 10th fielder, to say.
Certainly is a good battle here.
Yeah, I think you just might need to be wary of a change-up.
Do you think? Is that what you're calling?
Yeah.
Is that what you're calling, catcher?
Oh, yeah, he's fooled him before on it, and he's had good success, and then everything else he's throwing hard, he's had some good cuts at it, so yeah, it's...
Let's see where it goes, Hoani.
Oh, and that's a great hit out to centre field. Riley Mark here, coming around third, all the way to the plate. Kia mau te wehi.
Oh, mau te wehi.
Kia mau te wehi. Taweda Bishop, that was an awesome hit. Out to centre field, scores the Black Sox first run, and an important run for them.
Yeah, and I want to go back to Pitta Rona, you know, aha ko he te he paunami. Even though he put down that bunt, you know, with that hit right there, it wouldn't have happened without that. And, you know, those small things in our game are very precious. And that's it. Aha ko he te he paunami.
So the Black Sox score their first run. Tueta Bishop now on first base. Into the batter's box, number 27, Rhys Evans. On deck, the second base, Joel Evans. It looked like a compulsory.
Compulsory, looked like it, because it was certainly quite a ways outside, and you would think that our hitters, particularly Rhys, would be very disciplined in the batter's box and be leaving that outside pitch. But I think you're right, Hoani, and that says to me that they're again showing some aggressive softball and wanting to get their runners down to 2.
So just to explain for those of you who aren't familiar, a compulsory is where the coach is saying to the runner, you're leaving on the pitch, which means that the batter really needs to make safe contact, and by safe I mean not contact that results in a fly ball, because obviously that would leave the runner exposed and needing to return to the base. And it's a fly ball back, heads up. Bevan, given you were such a power hitter, I'm sure that you weren't asked to do a compulsory at any stage in your illustrious career, but on an occasion it must have happened. What did you feel about when you were told by the coach, look, you have to put the ball into the dirt?
To be honest, I was very comfortable in laying down the bunt. There's a number of times, you know, that I would get given the old bunt signal when I had 2 strikes on me. But you know, if it wasn't for my younger generation, when I was back in Waitara with the likes of Terry Tamari and my Uncle Bull, Jared's dad, you know, those were the basic fundamentals that we done. So I'd be more than welcome and happy to lay a bunt down.
So we've had a strikeout. Rhys Evans struck out on the change of pace for 2 away. We've also got a substitution coming on to run.
2-out catcher. 2-out catcher rule comes into play.
So this is a new rule. This is me showing my age. So this is the 2-out catcher rule. So this happens when you've got your pitcher or catcher on base and 2 down. You can bring them off so that they can prepare for the next inning, so that we're not delaying things along the way. So Rhys Evans has gone on to first base.
Probably not a bad move either, with Rhys's
speed. Yeah. And sometimes that's great, because it absolutely works in your favour, right? With putting the speed out there.
I'm not saying that us catchers were slow.
You go. I was just going to ask that. Hey, Bevan.
So is it just for catchers or pitchers as well?
I think it's at the moment. I think it's just for
just catchers. Just catchers.
So they can just go and pad up and all the rest of it.
I'm catching up. Oh, that's a nice hit again from the Black Sox, advancing Evans down to second base, and Joel Evans down to first. That's the Black Sox 3rd hit. Jackie.
Yeah, so they're seeing the ball well. In terms of, you know, their timing. I think it's their timing when they're actually, you know, really disciplined, as we've talked about up to now in the batter's box, and just being patient, just waiting for that right pitch. And when they do that, they're coming up with good solid hits like that.
Well, speaking of solid hits, Manawatū is batted in the back spots, and he had that 2-base hit out to left field. It was a real drive out to the left centre fence.
Yes, he got us off to a good start at the top of the game.
So the Black Sox have 2 runners on base, 2 away. A lot of action so far. We're only in the 2nd inning, 4 runs scored. Sean Cleary a bit cautious this time with Enoka.
The temporary runner is the pitcher and catcher now. It's changed.
Okay, cool.
Oh, he's collected another hit, and we've got another play at the plate. And that's a great hit again, under pressure from Ben Enoka, getting his team right back into this match. Rhys Evans crossing home plate. Black Sox runners on 1 and 2, 2 away, more opportunities to score. Bevan.
Yeah, it's outstanding. You know, the boys aren't missing many. It's getting right in the middle of the bat, and it's great to see. And good patient hitting, like you're saying, Jackie. You know, they're up there. They're not going at the first one or the other ones that are coming straight at them. They're waiting for their pitch, and they're making sure they're having good solid contact.
Good solid contact, yeah. And that's the thing, you know, when you've got the quality of hitters like that, which, you know, you would really expect the experience from Beninoka to be able to hit like that in this situation. It's all very well saying that, but this is their opportunity to actually put that into practice, and it's paying off.
So Jerome Raimaki into the batter's box. The Black Sox with runners on 1 and 2. They've pulled back 2 runs already in their second turn at bat. 2 out. And it's a ground out. Justin Laskowski tidy across to Corey Jones to retire the Black Sox after their second turn at bat. Not before they score 2 runs. They're back in this game. Heading into the top of the third, it's Canada leading by 3 runs to 2. No mai hoki mai, welcome back to Colquhoun Park. This great match between the Black Sox and Canada. It's a lot of action.
A lot of action.
5 runs.
5 runs.
Whilst Bevan's away, I'd just like to say we've had clarification that I was right. He was wrong. The 2 out rule does apply to pitches as well. I don't know how I knew that. I must have overheard it somewhere.
I think you must have, because not even I knew that. I'll admit. It's okay, Bevan, I'm with you.
In the batter's box is number 51, Ryan Boland, starting Canada's 3rd turn at bat. Bevan, Martini, I was just enjoying this moment of being right, you being wrong.
Well,
Talking about the pitcher, catcher, 2 out rule.
It's always a first time for everything, eh,
well,
Bev?
that's right. But also, you know, with your experience, Hoani, or throughout the game of being an umpire, the coach, the official scorer, all those things, you know, you got plenty of row in your hat, feathers in your cap.
You forgot very average player.
I was only a player. So the technical side of it, Jeremy, I'd expect that from you.
Wow. Thank you for the whakamana.
That's why we play, eh, Bev? That's why we play. Hawana, you do what you do.
Ryan Boland, back to the game. It's a walk down to first base. So you feel that the batters have helped to get the Black Sox back into this game. They won't want to have a repeat of the last inning too quickly, though.
Yeah, and getting that lead-off walk is exactly what Canada wanted. Definitely was, you know, Canada wanted to get their lead-off walk in their meat of their order as well.
So runner on 1, no outs. Colin Walsh in the batter's box. I have to say it's good to see the sun. It's been a bit damp here in the Manawatū, actually as it is across most of the central North Island at the moment. Looks like it'll be pretty good for the rest of the day. Get to see lots of action. If you're in or around the Manawatū, even the lower North Island, I'd suggest you try and get up here. We've got the 6 best teams in the world preparing for the Men's World Cup starting later in the week. Be some great softball, and already we're seeing some action-packed softball here today. And Chapman, that's a nice comeback. And it's been a bit of the story of the match so far for Chapman, isn't it? We've got walk, strikeout.
Yeah, high to keep the pipe. Off he goes back to the bench. Definitely a situation in regards for Chapman. He's starting to get in his groove. But going back to coming and watching some outstanding softball, $5 to watch the whole day. What do we got? 10 games on today. $5.
It's great value for money. Great value for money.
Bring your whole family out, bring the whānau, bring your friends.
Yep. Corey Jones in the batter's box, runner on one away.
And you touched on before, Hawani, the first hitter out getting on base is always really critical for a team, a hitting team, is to get your first batter on base.
2 strikeouts in a row for Chapman. In fact, that's his 5th strikeout of the game so far. So you just get the feeling that if he can just get a bit more game time and get back into his rhythm, this was probably the shakeout he needed.
Yeah, he'll be looking to. They're looking for consistency, aren't they? And what does that consistency look like?
Jason Hill in the batter's box. He's the designated player for Canada. Change of pace, and Chapman tidies up. So a nice tidy inning for the Black Sox, just what they needed after having conceded 3 runs in their previous turn of the field. We're going into the bottom of the 3rd, and the Black Sox will be looking to try and even things up. We're in the bottom of the 3rd, 3-2 Canada. No mai hoki mai, welcome back to Colquhoun Park. This is the 2022 Tradestaff International Invitational Series, an important build-up to the Men's World Cup that will be taking place in Albany later this week. And it's the Black Sox fighting their way back into this match after having been behind by 3 runs. They scored 2 runs in their 3rd turn at bat, and now they're chasing 1. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. It's number 47. Cole Evans, the captain, starting off the Black Sox 3rd turn at bat. So we were just talking in the break there about the contrasting styles that we've seen and kind of what you might expect actually given the history of the way that these teams have come at these international games.
Yeah, as I mentioned, just looking at the Black Sox in particular, I'm sure Bevan...
It's a nice hit for Cole Evans out to left field. He made good contact in his 1st turn at bat, but that's a safe hit to start the Black Sox off. Thomas Enoka coming up.
Yeah, Bevan will talk to Canada, but what I'm seeing from the Black Sox is traditionally, aggression, grit, confidence, willing to take some risks. They look like they're playing quite fearlessly, and also though with good composure at the same time, but just making contact, just doing those basics right.
And it's a hit out to second base. It's a nice double play. Lots of time for Canada to retire both Evans and Enoka. Certainly getting the cobwebs out of their system, Bevan.
Yeah, definitely. Going back to the style of game, and especially in the way they do when they're going into offense, the North American teams pretty much look like to hit their way and go station to station. And you just see that we sort of, us from New Zealand, we sort of played that sort of style just right there and then, ball hit hard, easy double play.
Yeah. So we spoke about the Black Sox having a nice pick-me-up with a tidy turn in the field defensively, and that double play, Jackie, will do a lot for the Canadian confidence.
Yeah, it will. It will. It just actually help them to also refocus. You know, from the last inning, there was that error that we saw at second base, and we talked about how there was caught off guard. So again, they've probably gone into the dugout, and they've thought, hey guys, we just need to really make sure we stay focused all the time, and that we're always talking and communicating to each other. And that's just part of the game that everyone will be working on.
This is Riley Markia in the batter's box. He had a nice driven ball out to second base. It was a bit of an error, but it was a firmly hit ball from him. He's seeing the ball well.
And that's the thing, if you make good contact, hard contact, even if it's directed straight at fielders, you're constantly applying pressure on the field. Yeah, so you can either have safe hits, or you can hit the ball hard to someone, and sometimes you can catch them off guard. Although at international level, Hawani, it doesn't happen very often.
Oh, and trying to check his swing there, Riley Markia doesn't manage to do so, and so it's a comfortable catch to Derek Mason. Retires the Black Sox after a fairly short inning, going into the top of the fourth, and it's 3-2 Canada.
Yeah, it was an innings for both teams that had opportunity, had base runners, but didn't take advantage of it. You know, we didn't see them like they did earlier, manufacture runs and move people around, and you know, it sort of became the innings of what it turned out to be. Very quick, 3 up, 3 down, really, and after they had both teams got runners on. So, you know, me personally, I think both teams, if we get back to manufacturing runs and putting runners in motion and moving them around and put the ball in play, we'll start to see more runs. So.
And sometimes that can come from energy levels, Bevan. You know, when you warm up prior to games, you're pumped. You know, the Black Sox, they come in with their haka. There's that real high energy throughout the team. So you start with a real aggressive, dynamic start, and then you just start to settle. Both teams sort of settle into their style of play and go, okay, now actually let's start to actually really think about what is it that we need to do, how do we need to do it, get more control and more consistency, and just have some more composure in our game. Or do they actually just need to get out there and actually lift those energy levels back up again?
Yeah, I think it's an individual thing. You know, they've got to bring the energy themselves. You can't wait for someone else to bring that energy and the other person to get the hit.
Yeah, so get that spark.
They've got to be the spark, you know.
Yeah.
Starting the hitting for Canada in their fourth tune of batters, number 29, Derek Mason. On deck, the second base, Justin Laskowski. That's a foul back. It was interesting, Bevan, in the break between innings, I saw Paddy Shannon coming out and having a quiet word to Weta Bishop. What do you think might have been going on there?
Probably a couple of things. He's probably just making sure, seeing where Daniel is, where Chapman is, and if the spark's still there, or if he's dropped off a couple of Ks. But also, more importantly, is making sure that we get off to a good start this innings and we get that first batter out.
So Patrick Shannon, the pitching coach for the Black Sox, and well-accomplished Black Sox catcher himself. Great hitter, Paddy Shannon.
Yeah, well, turned up with that unusual stance that took the world by storm, and in 2004 created a whole different ball game with the way he batted. But you know, that was Paddy. You know, and he definitely, you know, he's an outstanding ball player in his time. And you know, hopefully he sticks at this coaching and uses that knowledge that he's had in the past to pass it on to these guys.
Yeah, it was quite unusual. It was a very open stance, wasn't it? It was almost like he was facing the pitcher face on and then stepping in on the pitch, wasn't it?
Yeah. You know, and he was talented because, you know, played indoor cricket for New Zealand and brought that experience into the game for his hitting, and very explosive with the bat. You know, didn't get cheated on many swings, but great to see.
It's a full count on Mason. And it's another lead-off walk for the Canadians, second in a row.
So the last inning we saw a walk on the first hitter as well, right? Yeah.
This is where, you know, same situation when they scored their runs. The bottom order got on base for the top order.
You see some of the crowd who are down here supporting the Black Sox today. They're a very popular team. And it's nice to see the local crowd coming out. Tina Schoon, well known in these parts.
I see Canada trying to, you know, the number 9 hitter trying to advance that runner and squaring around to put that bunt down, which is good to see.
It's Laskowski in the batter's box fronting. And the ball goes through. Waiting for the right pitch.
And sometimes in this situation, Evan, would you be calling? I know we would have set plays in the women's team that you'd want the pitch. Oh, great
And it's
out.
a nice out. It was a ball that went to ground initially from Tueda Bishop. He recovered, and a nice tidy out down to Cole Evans.
Cannon.
He's got a great arm, hasn't he?
Cannon.
Cannon, I like that.
He
I
He
like
has
that
got
one down.
He has got a cannon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen a couple of examples from Tueda Bishop. Those throws down to second base. Kamotuwehi. Awesome. Awesome. And again, that just changes the tone for the inning, doesn't it? A
That's
play
right.
like that.
You know, they got their lead-off walk, which they wanted, and then now we're in a situation we've got one out, no runners on, and number 9 hitters up.
Yeah.
So you know, we're probably working hard to get the number 9 hitter out, so that's 2 outs at the top of the order coming up.
And he seemed to he just seemed to struggle a little bit there on that bunt, that sacrifice bunt there to move his runner, and I wonder if that's traditional of the Canadian team to be moving their runners in a bunting sacrifice bunt style, or would they typically opt to want to hit?
I've seen a couple of examples of the power of Bishop's arm down to second base, so that'll be something that the Canadians will be noting.
Oh, I think if
Probably-
you were watching this game, I think
think-
everyone will be noting
I
that.
think there's some Aussies down there,
Yeah.
and the Jappers in the outfield, and
Yeah,
there's a few of them out there, especially the Japanese, because they love to run.
they love to run.
So you know, and
Yeah.
gives a different dimension for New Zealand now, having, you know,
Well, you're planting the seed, aren't you, too, for other teams? Because that's the whole point also of these games, is it allows everyone to be able to assess other teams, understand what are the strengths and weaknesses out there. Now, if I was watching that, I'd be thinking, maybe when he drops the ball next time, I might not run.
So Canada have a runner on first. They're at the top of their order again. Shane Boland into the batter's box. And that's called a ball. 7 walks so far. Chapman's given up. To none for the Canadian side. It's quite a lot of runners to be putting on base.
yeah, definitely, and also there's a lot of pitching for Daniel. You know, you know, he'd be close. I'm not too sure how
Must
much
be near
pitches
100.
He'd be pretty close up there because, you know, throwing that many walks doesn't help.
Yeah, that's right. I think the last inning was probably his shortest inning, really. Well, for both of them, wasn't it?
I mean, Bevan, you've got to wonder, does he just need to bring the ball into the zone a bit more and see what happens?
Yeah, so, you know, obviously in New Zealand we have our New Zealand umpires, You know,
It's a high fly ball. Spoke about how things have improved weather-wise here at Colquhoun Park. Still got a bit of wind, but it's a bit of cloud around. 17 degrees at the moment. For those of you in the northern hemisphere, 62 Fahrenheit.
it's about another 3 layers here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Haere ki
Yeah.
te pai.
What does that mean? It means bring a jacket.
Yeah.
Haere ki te pai for Shane Boland. Heads back to the dugout. It's another strikeout. We've talked about 7 walks. There's also been 6 strikeouts. Not a lot of bat to ball.
No, but I think you know, if looking at it, especially on New Zealand's point of view, you know, Daniel's definitely getting through the hitters and getting the strikeouts, and that's going up quite high. Minimising the walks is going to be a huge benefit in that.
Again, it's probably good that they get through these challenges early. Got Manawatū Roy in the batter's box, the left field for Canada. Runner on 1, 2 away. And it's a high fly ball. It's back foul.
Yeah, and when we talk about the walks, he has had a lot of walks. However, they don't. What's important is there's no walks when we have runners in scoring position. So yes, it has been the lead-offs, but they've been able to actually battle away.
And this time the throw's not on the mark, too far to the left. Evans unable to retrieve it, so it's a stolen base. Good play from Canada, getting that runner down to 2 with 2 away, gets them into scoring position.
Tough pitch to throw, you know, reaching out on his glove hand side and then trying to transfer it across to throw it down, and you got a left-hander hitter as well.
Yeah.
So you know, good by Canada, outstanding by Canada, good move. You know, obviously as a catcher you can't sort of see that part there because of that hitter blocking your way.
We'll come to Bevan's defensive catches later on. It's a strikeout though to retire Canada after their 4th turn at bat. Heading into the bottom of the 4th, sorry. It's 3-2 Canada. Colquhoun Park. In this match between the New Zealand Black Sox and Canada, it's a tight one. Canada leading by 3 runs to 2. We have the top 6 teams here competing at the Tradestaff International Invitational Tournament. And the Black Sox, they're just 1 behind. And they've got a few power hitters coming up, starting with Peter Runa on deck, the catcher Tawera Bishop. We spoke before about the challenges that Chapman has had with the walks, and there we see Sean Cleary opening with a strike.
Yeah, and it's getting ahead early. You know, making those hitters wanting to chase you. Because if you don't get ahead early, then the batters will just sit back, take their time.
It's a high fly ball. It's very windy up there, so you saw the shortstop starting to go for it. It's ended up being caught by the second base, Justin Laskowski, for one away. And we talked about the contrasts between the two teams. The Black Sox have collected 5 hits to 2, the Canadians, so the contrast between the offense of the two teams is quite striking. Taweda Bishop into the batter's box. He had a nice hit at his last turn at bat, a safe hit out to centre field. He'll be looking to get a rally started for the Black Sox.
So that's our 5 hits to the Black Sox.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? I think that's the difference though between the pitching and that our Black Sox are showing that discipline in the batter's box, that when they come in the zone, they've been patient and they're making that good contact. I guess what we need to do though is make that contact when we have runners in scoring position, which is what Canada did, right? So that's what that's our next step, that's the next opportunity for us, is how do we put consistency, put the back-to-back hitting, right, to actually score those runs.
Just like we did in the second innings.
Yeah.
You know, to come back in.
Yeah.
Driven out to the right. Yeah, so a lot of action with the bat for New Zealand, and even the drive from Riley Mark here for some would have also been counted as a safe hit. 3 runs from Canada, 2 came in on that loose pitch, 1 came from a sacrifice fly. They've only had 2 hits. One of those was a drive back at the pitcher. So I think despite being behind by 1, the Black Sox coaching staff will be quite happy with the way the offense is going for them. It's swing and a miss, strikeout, 2 away. Reese Evans comes up. On deck, Joel Evans.
Yeah, well, that's only the second strikeout in regards to the Black Sox. So you're right, they definitely have great at-bats at the plate, making good solid contact.
I suppose that'll be front of mind for the Black Sox coaching staff. Will be trying to get Chapman game fit for next week.
Yeah, for sure. You know, he's definitely going to strike out a whole lot of people, but you minimise those walks and minimise those base runners, and then it's definitely going to be very helpful.
I suppose the other thing too that they'll be looking at is that combination with Bishop. Obviously they come from different clubs, different provinces, so that'll be something that they'll be wanting to develop.
Yeah, definitely. You know, if they can, if those two can blend and get a really tight knit and understand each other, it's going to be a very good combination.
And I think that there's that's probably a tactic by the Black Sox, by our coaching staff, and that the boys are all well aware that we need a hit, we need to be a hitting side against, particularly against some of these defensive teams that we're going to come up against at the World Cup, right? When you're going to be facing Japan, Argentina, who are going to have strong pitching, we need to make sure that we are hitting.
Yes, that's right. And like the key word that you said before was consistency.
Yeah.
And you know, we can't just do it at one innings. You know? So and that goes with any team. You know, any team that's going to be very successful next week, they have to consistently hit over the whole 10 days to medal.
Ngā mihi mō tō whakaaro korua. Rhys Evans just striking out there to end the Black Sox. Fourth turn at bat. We're going into the top of the fifth. It's Canada still leading by 3 runs to 2. Corneda, just whilst you're away, it was a hit right over the centre right field fence. A great hit there from Brad Ezekiel to extend Canada's lead by 4 runs to 2. We talked about that win before, Bevan, and I think that was a pretty good example.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and he got all of it. He didn't, you know, it wasn't a miss hit, wasn't anything. He got everything of all of that. And it's a great start for Canada. Great start. Come in top of the fifth. Jump 2 more runs ahead.
So Canada go out to a 4-2 lead. We're in the top of the fifth, and it's Ryan Boland into the batter's box on deck. Colin Walsh.
And he really sat on that pitch, didn't he? He's picked that rise ball that unfortunately just didn't kick out of the zone. Got right on top of it and hit it with extreme power.
Yeah, well, you can go back as far as you like with the Canadians, and you can go back to Jody Henniger, and, you know, anything above his ears, they'd still hit it. So it doesn't matter where you put it with that rise ball for these fellas, they'll make sure get everything that they can get out of it.
And, you know, that's part of this tournament, isn't it? We keep saying that as a build-up, you know. Now we know that. Now we know that they still do that. Now we'll be smarter, right? Knowing our pitching combinations, understanding that we're getting later in the game. We're in the 5th inning. They've had a few turns at bat. They may be aware of what's coming, and now they're ready.
And a nice play from Joel Evans across to Peter Rona. That's 1 away. Into the batter's box, it's number 9, Colin Walsh on deck, Corey Jones. Canada now leading by 4 runs to 2 thanks to a long drive out the park, the centre right field fence from Brad Ezekiel. Just their 3rd hit of the game though. That's another fly ball. And Cole Evans making the call, tidying it up, 2 away.
Definitely after seeing those last 2 hitters, it first at bat, you know, just makes things a whole lot different.
Corey Jones into the batter's box. He's struggled a little bit so far today, although you could say that means he's due. 2 strikeouts so far. Goes for the first pitch.
They seem to have come in a bit more aggressive in this inning. They're certainly going at those first pitches, going nice and early now. Anything that looks close, they're having a go at.
Yeah, well, they're coming through their third time at bat, so, you know.
Starting to apply some pressure on the pitcher.
I don't know if we can get a shot of this, Bevan, but I'm actually not too sure they're in the batter's box. If you can see their back foot. You can see the tags coming out which show the back of the box. Before I think the question was being asked by Bishop.
they're definitely making the most of it. But you know, it's like anything, you go as far as you can go till the official tells you need to come back. So you make it. It's the same with the pitches.
So you'll see here we've got Corey Jones, and that back foot to me is well behind the back tag. In that case, does he just need to have a portion of his cleat on that back line?
No, the old foot has to be inside the line. You know, there's imaginary line, and that's what those blue tufts are there for. So that's the batter's box, and obviously he's definitely way behind it is.
Makes no difference for Daniel Chapman,
Yeah.
thank goodness. That's the third strikeout for Corey Jones. Haere ki te pai, and we're going into the bottom of the fifth. It's Canada. They've extended their lead by 1 run. They lead by 4 runs to 2. Te whiti te rā, the sun is shining here in Palmerston North at Colquhoun Park. We're starting to get through this match between the Black Sox and Canada. Right at the business end of things now, it's the 5th turn at bat for the Black Sox. They're trailing by 2 runs, but they've had some success with the bat. They're hitting the ball well, and that'll be giving the coaching staff quite a lot of optimism and confidence as they seek to reclaim 2 runs, tie, and hopefully go ahead. Starting the hitting for the Black Sox in their 5th turn at bat is number 3, Joel Evans, and then we're back to the top of the order with Ben Enoka. Joel Evans in his last turn at bat had a nice hit out to centre field. And we've got a change of picture for Canada. Justin Schofield has come in, replacing Sean Cleary. Just getting our first look at Schofield. Sizable unit, Evan.
Yeah, very. You know, mind you, good solid Canadian. You know,
As they are.
As they
Good
are.
solid Canadians.
I think that's how they breed them. Hockey players first, and then they move on to
softball.
to the summer code.
Wow.
That's a
and
great start.
Yeah.
Haere ki te pai pai.
Haere ki te pai pai, Joel Evans.
Yep.
Strikeout.
And you know, this is good though. This is good for the Black Sox because you want to be seeing this guy. You want to see the team's pitches. You don't want to go into next week and saying in the, you know, a tough game, an important game, and not having seen pitches.
Ben Enoka into the batter's box, had a lot of success against Cleary, collected 2 hits. Certainly coming in with a bit more pace than we saw with Cleary.
And plus also, you know, our boys have seen Cleary so many times, and coming, you know, seeing Schofield here, you know, I'm not too sure they would have seen them much. So they're a bit hesitant and not too sure what's coming through.
Oh, and that's another big hit out to centre field. But
Nice.
it's a nice catch. Brad Ezekiel
Tata.
doing the work to retire Ben Anoka for the first time in this match. It's 2 out. We're in the bottom of the 5th and into the batter's box. Number 6, Jerome Raimaki.
I wonder if our boys take that advantage of being at the back of the box and...
Hey.
Hey.
The Canadians seem to be quite used to it.
Well, if you look at Jerome, he seems to look like he has quite a bit of an open stance as well, doesn't he? Yeah. Let's have a look. But you know, if you do, it's up to, if you want to question it, either the officials will pick up on it, or coaches, if they feel like they need to, will go and make the umpires aware.
That's right. And, you know, part of the situation is being a catcher. Those are the sorts of things you had to manage as well, and making sure that, you know,
Yeah.
the opposition weren't making the most of their advantage of what they could. And it's about you as a catcher keeping them honest and making sure that the guy behind you is you're working as a team. Because even though he's got a blue uniform on and not the same uniform on as you still got to work with him as in a team situation.
Yeah, that's right. I often reminded my father when he was umpiring behind me just what the rules were.
It's a bit different in your case, Jackie. I think you were batting and you weren't catching.
Just remember the strike zone, Dad.
Jerome Raimaki. And that's a strikeout. 2 strikeouts in that inning from the replacement pitcher, Justin Schofield. Nice tidy inning from the Canadians going into the top of the 6th. They lead by 4 runs to 2.
Well, he really came in and made a mark there, didn't he?
It's a great start.
Yeah.
Nau mai hoki mai, ki te pakanga. Welcome back to the battlefield. So here we go. I spoke about Daniel. You know, in the second innings was struggling a bit, and they'll probably only go through about the first 3 innings. You know, we're coming into the top of the 6th now, and it looks like he's here, and Mark's obviously wanting to see he can go the distance. You know, which is good. You know, Daniel's getting out there, getting in his groove, and it's great. You know, great confidence for Daniel to get, you know, at least 7 innings under his belt to move him forward.
Looks like we've got a replacement hitter in for Canada. Number 77, Ty Sebastian, has come in as the designated player. Just quickly looking through the stats so far for Daniel Chapman. 25 batters faced, 7 walks, 3 hits, 7 strikeouts. So he's had a busy day on the mound.
And just watching him then, he just seems to be a little unhappy with the umpire's strike zone. I mean, we talk about the importance of adjusting to umpires, and that's what the game is all about as well. You know, at the end of the day, the umpire knows the zone, we all know the zone, but sometimes, you know, you may not get what you want, so you have to make those adjustments.
And it's the third time we've got a lead-off walk.
You're right, Jackie. And I think that the other thing is, you know, in your own country, you get complacent with understanding and knowing those blues, and you get used to their own zone. But when you come into international, you don't have your own home country umpiring any of your games, so you have to make those adjustments.
Into the batter's box is Derek Mason. We've got a runner on one, no outs. This time it's a high fly ball out to shallow right field. Nicely taken by Riley Markia. One down.
And that's great. That's an important out for us. That, once again, if you have your lead-off hitter on, the important thing is that they don't advance into scoring position and we get a quick out.
Into the batter's box, number 97, the second base, Justin Laskowski. On deck, shortstop, Shane Boland.
And once again, the bottom order is doing the things for them, getting on the base path. For that top order, getting another extra at bat. And Lakowski's got another opportunity to show his bunting styles for you, Jackie.
Yeah. It's my type of player. You know, you can get on base with a bunt, you know that.
Looked early off first base, indeed,
yes.
Too early. So Ty Sebastian has been called out, leaving the base too early. So that's a bit of a let-off for the Black Sox. Because you would have thought actually if Canada scored a further run, that would start to make things quite difficult for the Black Sox with just 2 at-bats left. But now there's 2 away, no runners on base, and Laskowski in the batter's box. Just missing.
Decoy.
It's walk number 9. So Bevan, who else have the Black Sox got for the rest of this tournament, pitching wise?
So they've got Ben Watts has been brought in to cover. You obviously got Pita Rona.
Josh
Pettit, Riley Markia. But you're hoping that, you know, with what they've got, that Daniel and Pettit can do the bulk of the pitching for you. You know, when you go to the World Cup, you've got 1 game a day, and you're hoping that those 2 can get through and get you where you need to be.
It's probably been a long time since Chapman's thrown a full game.
He probably threw earlier on, no doubt, when they had their trials in Auckland and Wellington and Christchurch, that, you know, they would have given him a game, a full game. But
Joel Evans making things look easy, throws across to Cole Evans to retire Canada after their 6th turn at bat. Canada letting the Black Sox off the hook a little bit. As we go into the bottom of the 6th, it's Black Sox chasing 2. the business end of things now. It's the bottom of the 6th. The Black Sox are chasing 2 runs. Canada lead 4-2. We're in the meat of the Black Sox order. It's arguably one of their best hitters, Cole Evans. Had a nice hit to left field to start the 3rd turn at bat. Just looking at the stats, New Zealand have given up 9 walks. That's the equivalent of letting every hitter on base through a lineup, and Canada have given up none.
Yep. And that's a telling story as you go on through this tournament and probably through the World Series.
In some ways, it's good that the Black Sox are still in this game. So we've got Cole Evans, who will be followed by Thomas Enoka, then Riley Markia. Did he go? Oh, said yes. Not sure about that. The call is the call.
The call is the call. He's got a real interesting style, hasn't he, this Schofield pitcher? He really drives off that mound.
He does, and even though he's coming off the bar, his weight is still staying
Staying
forward.
back. Yeah.
So he's not grounding again
Yes.
and pushing. So really important for the Black Sox to get off to a good start here in the 6th inning. They don't want to be putting too much pressure on in their last turn at bat. There you can see our umpires, Lee Evans behind the plate, Andy McManus at first, Mark Porteous at second, Dave Fortin at third. Foul ball, and the catcher just a little bit angry at himself because he managed just to hold on to that. That would have been a strikeout.
He was just a little bit angry, wasn't he? I think
A little bit agitated.
Yeah. But that's the stage that they'll be at. They won't be wanting this game to get away on them.
It's a good pitch, well out of the zone. Cole Evans chasing, and that's 1 away. Thomas Enoka will come to the plate, followed by Riley Markia with the Black Sox under pressure, chasing 2.
And as you mentioned before, Bevan, I think it's really important for that. These are, well, actually, I think Canada have probably done us a favour by actually pitching Schofield for us so we can get a look at him.
Yeah, definitely. There's a, getting that first out right there is a huge one in the 6th, in regards to a team that's chasing 2 runs. Getting 1 back in this innings it makes things a whole lot easier when you go into your last at bat.
Yeah, that's right.
Thomas Enoka has grounded out twice to shortstop. He's made good contact.
Ooh.
He really likes to leap down at the hitters. Justin Schofield.
He's definitely getting down towards the plate, and that's what you want. You want to get down as close as you can to that plate to make it a whole lot, quicker for yourself.
So the Black Sox wanting to make something happen. Not getting much cooperation from Schofield, though. That's a good pitch for his 2nd strikeout of the inning.
He's definitely come in and lifted Canada.
Yeah.
He's come in and he's that's his, I think it's about his 4th strikeout.
Yeah.
And he's definitely lifted their energy level up a bit.
Their energy, that's right. You can hear it. You can see it and you can hear it.
Yeah, you get the feeling, the combination of that automatic from Ezekiel and now with Schofield coming in, it's been like a 1-2, what's it called, sucker punch? I don't know. Something or other.
Sucker pitch.
I don't, punch,
What's it?
punch.
Oh,
you know.
Oh, right.
1-2, left and right. left
That's
right.
it.
Definitely
That's
left
it.
and right.
But
It's
certainly
definitely a left and right.
certainly the combination of the automatic and now Schofield, who, as you say,
Nice
nice
hard
bit
hit.
of contact,
Yeah.
but also great fielding there from Canada. So 3 up, 3 down, second time in a row for Schofield to retire the Black Sox. We've finished their 6th turn at bat, going to the top of the 7th. Canada lead 4-2. Kia ora koutou, welcome back to Colquhoun Park. We're at the top of the 7th, Canada leading by 4 runs to 2. Starting the hitting for Canada in their 7th turn at bat will be number 15, Manawatū Roy. On deck is number 52, a substitute. I don't have a name on my sheet, we'll get that to you as soon as we can. We still have Daniel Chapman on the mound. So this is the first game of this Invitational series. Jackie, how important do you think this win is for Canada at this stage?
Oh, look, traditionally Canada, they've shown us today that they're certainly playing in their typical style, aggressive, dominant, and I think, if anything, the key for them will be setting the bar high in terms of also not only physical presence, but also the mental edge. I think the mental edge that they'll want over other teams, and particularly the Black Sox, saying that we're here to play, we're here to win. And I think they could probably be pretty happy with that.
So we've got a substitute batter replacing Ezekiel, who hit that automatic home run back in the 5th, is Quinton Bruce. And the outcome of the match for the Black Sox, Bevan?
Yeah, well, they would be, obviously they've still got another at-bat and then get out of this innings, but they'll be after a win, to set their campaign, their international campaign back on where it needs to go, and heading in the right direction. Obviously a loss doesn't put you in there, but there's a whole lot of things you can take out from that situation to move forward. Losing the first game of the tournament is better than losing the last game in the tournament. So definitely want to come out here with a win and move forward and have that energy and to make your way go into the tournament and feeling confident. Everyone's had good at bats and everyone's had great situation, but with a loss, just a readjustment to help things out. It's a whole lot better.
And I think they would be happy with a lot of little wins that I've seen,
Yes.
right? In their build-up to the Black Sox. Also probably Canada, but more so Black Sox. There's a lot of good things that we've seen here today. And knowing Mark Sorensen and his coaching philosophies, it's exactly as you've said, Bevan. It's what happens at the end, right? Rather than what's happening right here, right now. It's the build-up.
That's right. And Mark's, he is after winning those little battles.
Yes.
He's after those little battles. Whether it's this battle that's happening here between Chapman and Bruce, he's after the winning that battle right there. And that's the key thing about it. And if you look at it, if we win more little battles, at the end of the day, we're going to come away with the W that we're after.
certainly you get the feeling that it's been more important to the coaching staff of the Black Sox to see Chapman pitch a full game rather than actually win this match.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you know, he's thrown a whole lot of pitches because that's telling with the amount of walks he's throwing. We're probably into double figures now with the amount of walks he's throwing. But him out there, being out there, is definitely a good sign for Brutus and the coaching staff, and also the team, to know that Daniel Chapman can throw 7 innings. You know, all he has to do is understand, I've got 8 other players behind me, cut those walks down, get a few ground balls and a few pop-ups is going to be more beneficial than, you know, it's a bit hard to defend a walk.
So Canada have a runner on first base. Ryan Boland in the batter's box. You're right, Bevan, that was the 10th walk for Chapman. And on the other side, no walks for the Black Sox.
And it's like anything, you want teams to earn their runs. You want teams to, you know, not to give it to them. You know, but Chapman's not out there to throw walks either. You know, he's trying to do his best in what he's trying to do. And it's great to see him getting through this, because he'll beat himself up, no doubt. He's got high standards on himself, and there's no way that he wants to give away, you know, double figures into a walk situation. So, you know, looking at it and moving forward, there's the benchmark for Daniel Chapman.
Yeah. As you say, it's all part of a journey back from injury for Chapman.
And looking at it, you know, him going through this and getting, you know, doing 7 innings, you know, he's obviously done the rehab to get back to where he was to be able to throw the 7 innings, which is, you know, fantastic for him. It's great to see.
Nice
that's
play.
an outstanding double play. Chapman signs off with a brilliant piece of fielding, pulling in a hardly driven ball back to him, across to Cole Evans, down to Pisadona to retire Canada. Is that the lift that the Black Sox need heading into their last turn at bat? We'll soon find out. Kia ora koutou, we're now down to the last chance for the Black Sox to pull back 2 runs. We're in the bottom of the 7th. We've spoken about the strength of this Black Sox lineup, and certainly they've made some good contact with the ball so far. However, Justin Schofield came into this game in the 5th inning. He's had 6 batters, 4 strikeouts. The Black Sox are yet to get on base against him. Peter Runa is in the batter's box. On deck is Taweda Bishop. New Zealand coming into their last turn at bat with an outstanding double play. A nice way for Daniel Chapman to finish off a full 7 innings of pitching. It was a challenging game out for him, but you got the feeling that wasn't really the point. The coaching staff were just wanting to make sure he could get through a full game. He's on his road back from injury. And now, I think we're on a 2-ball, no strike count. 3-ball. So Peter Rona putting some early pressure back on Schofield. Where was that? And here we go. So
Haere ki te hikoi.
Haere ki te hikoi for Peter Rona. And this is an interesting beginning to the 7th tuna pad. Sorry,
look,
Jackie.
and this is a great situation for us to be in, right? What better way to prepare ourselves with the end in mind, which is the World Cup, and we're working towards that, to see how Canada finish out a game when they're on top, and how do we react when we're behind in this situation, right? So Mark Sorensen, knowing Mark Sorensen, he'll be saying, guys, be patient in the batter's box, see some pictures, let's just go through the plan, trust the plan, one step at a time.
So into the batter's box is the catcher, Taweda Bishop. There's been a substitute on first base, coming on to run from the Hutt Valley. The Hutt Valley.
Tane Mumu.
Tane Mumu. Hutt Valley.
Did you say Hutt Valley?
From Hutt Valley.
3 times, 4 times.
Green and gold.
And Bishop with a high fly ball. And that is interesting, just to show the speed of Tane Mumu. They didn't even have a look at second base. Usually they would be looking to take the lead runner, but Tane Mumu safely down to second base. Taweda Bishop with the ground out. One away.
Just an update on Diamond 2, Australia. 2-1 in front at the bottom of the third. Against Argentina.
So that's a good start by the Australians. Argentina, of course, are the current world champions. Australia 2-1 up. I think that's a repeat of the final, was it?
Yes.
Of the last World Cup. Back to this match, Rhys Evans into the batter's box.
And what we're after here is scoring this run right here. We're in a moment that we need to drive this ball, get our pitch that we're after, and drive this runner in from second.
Yeah.
Rhys Evans has been struck out twice, although that was with Shane Cleary. This is his first time facing Schofield. Swing and a miss. So the Black Sox down by 2. They've got a runner on second base, 1 away. Rhys Evans, followed by Joel Evans, and then we're back to the top of the order. Ben Enoka. And
Haere ki te pai.
Haere ki te pai, sadly for Rhys Evans.
That was a tough one. Tough call, but...
So
it's all about protecting the plate though, Jackie. You're in the bottom of 7. You've got 2 strikes on you, and you've got to, you can't give that option of giving it to the umpire.
Yeah.
Joel Evans, what can he do? Black Sox.
And you're absolutely right. Sometimes in these situations, even for, the umpires are now in their moment. It's tight, it's critical, there's opportunities here, and sometimes that can happen as well. It might not be the pitch that you think, but it's their pitch.
Joel Evans seeking to keep the game alive for the Black Sox. They're chasing 2. They've got a runner on 2, 2 away. It's up and away.
He doesn't want to come close.
It's good to turn it back. Yeah.
And the Black Sox would really like to get their top order into this game. It's down and away. Tane Mumu goes down to third base on the wild pitch. It's full count 2 away. Runner on third base for the Black Sox. Tying run at the plate. Joel Evans, good eye, holds up, doesn't go after the rise ball. Check swing, no it's not.
That's a great turn it back right there.
And so Canada timeout, and for good reason. The Black Sox are behind by 2, but they've got now the go-ahead run at the plate, and it's their lead hitter, Manawatū, already has 2 hits in this game. Interestingly, we spoke about how Chapman was having walk trouble, and first 2 walks for Canada we've seen in this turn at bat for the Black Sox.
And also we've been talking about how Canada, the bottom of their order has actually done a lot of damage right against us, and now we've seen our order right through this time in the game actually deliver too.
That's right.
Getting us runners on base and scoring position for us for the top of our order. As you've mentioned, Ben coming in.
Black Sox runners on 1 and 3. Manawatū at the plate, chasing 2, up and away.
And I think that the key thing right here is what with that runner on third, having 2 outs, that run, him trying to squeeze home and get in on a pass ball, it's not that important. We can't take the bat out of the batter's hand right here. So
just let him do his job. Just let him have his turn it back. That's it. Oh, he called that pitch. Hard luck.
Strikeouts called.
Hard luck. Yep.
And so that retires the Black Sox. Unfortunately, Manawatū caught looking to retire the Black Sox after their 7th turn at bat, and it's Canada who have come away with the win by 4 runs to 2 over the Black Sox. A good match. Jackie Smith, your thoughts? Jackie Smith, your thoughts on the game?
Oh, look, I think that both teams should be really happy with that. We've seen a great game of softball. Fantastic opportunity. Mukapuna to be out here. Beautiful opportunity for us to actually be playing softball. Great job by Daniel Chapman. I think that he was able to play that full game.
Jackie, it's been a great catch up with you. Thank you for your comments today. Bevan, thanks very much for everything that you've been doing through today as well, and I'll leave it to you to sign us off.
Kia ora. E te wānui, ko oti mātou mahi. Manawatū, Manawatoka, tēnei hoki tō manawa ka tīna, tēnei hoki tō manawa ka toka, tēnei hoki tō manawa ka pautaia, ki tia, tīna noho tō manawa. He manawa ora, he ora, haume hui e.
Tai ki e. Kia ora everyone.
Ka pai.